Hi guys, this is Debbie and welcome back to my channel. We'll be doing my second video in my Make Your Own Traveler's Notebook series. If you haven't seen the first one, go ahead and click on that button up there and go ahead and watch that one. And also make sure to watch to the end so you can get in on my giveaway that I'm doing. First, let's look at the supplies that we're going to be needing. You'll need some pattern paper, some paper for your inserts, a paper trimmer or craft knife, and a stapler. So with the pattern paper, you're going to want to cut a 12 by 12 sheet in half at 6 inches. You can trim down the edge at 8 inches because we aren't going to really need the rest of that, and you can always use it for another project. You will want to make sure that you're having the paper in your paper trimmer the right direction. Basically, this is going to be 5.5 inches high, so you'll want to position your paper when you're cutting it to match that. And you'll probably notice that I didn't trim my paper down. I basically figured out what specific dimensions as I went along, but I wanted to share that with you up front. Next, you want to cut the pages for your insert at 5.5 by 8.5 inches. These are going to be the pages that are going to go on the inside. Again, it's going to be 5.5 inches tall. The 8.5 is so that we can fold it in half inside the cover that we just cut, and that gives you enough space for it to fit into your planner. What's really nice is that if you're using standard size copy paper, or in this case I'm using 28 pounds, so it gives a bit thicker so it handles markers and such a little better. You just basically cut it in half at 5.5 inches because those pages are already right at 11. So see here, I'm going to be just folding these in half. You don't need a scoreboard for this part, you just fold it basically in half. We're going to be trimming off the excess once we get our little notebooks put together. And I'm making 2 of them, so I'm using both sets, so both halves of those sheets. I used 6 pieces of the 28 pound. I did make some other ones later that are going to be included in the planner that I'm giving away that were done with watercolor paper. You do need to make sure you use less because since that paper is so thick, it's a bit harder to get everything trimmed down, and they just don't fold well and take up. They're a bit bulkier than the regular pages. So on those I used 4 pages instead of the 6. On this one you'll see though that I didn't cut I cut my initial paper down at 6 inches instead of 5.5, so I've got some excess. And this is my trial and error portion where I'm looking to see, okay, how much space do I actually need to cut off? So what you're going to do is you're going to put the notebook together, all of the pages and the cover, and then you're going to try to cut the edge down. Now with the excuse me, with the watercolor paper, it did not work well on using my paper trimmer, so I did have to go back and use a craft knife instead, and that's just because the pages wound up being so thick that even though my Swingline paper trimmer cuts very, very well, it wasn't able to handle that really, really thick piece. It did fine with the smaller ones. Then I'm going ahead to put the staples in and realize, oh, my notebook's a little bit too wide, so I'm having to trim that back. That's where we get that 3.5 inch measurement. I went back and took one of my covers to measure that real quick to make sure it's going to be the right size, and then I trimmed the notebook down to 3.5 inches, and that works perfectly. It also works great with a regular stapler because you're able to line that up right on the center line and staple it. You can use some kind of stitching on these, but I found that this is probably the quickest, easiest way to put together your notebooks. And you'll see that this trimmer does do a really good job going ahead and cutting all of the edges real nice and flat. So that, I love the way that this one works. I've had a couple of other smaller trimmers, and I've got one that's a rotary trimmer. You've probably seen on past videos, but it doesn't really work well for this kind of purpose. This just seems to work a lot better when I'm wanting to do bulk. And when you're working with anything planner related, you're going to be using usually more than one sheet at a time. So having this nice big paper trimmer has definitely been a big help. I got this one, I think it was at at Hobby Lobby on a 40% off discount, and it only cost me like 25 bucks, so it was a really, really good deal. You may be lucky and be able to get that because, you know, Hobby Lobby always has a 40% off coupon, so you can always do that. So here I am just trimming off the last of that. That notebook is pretty much put together. All we have left now is to grab the corner rounder. This is optional, of course, and round those corners so that it looks really pretty when we put it back into the planner. And there we go. So what I've done is I've made 4 little notebooks to go into each of the planners. So here's that one that we made the cover last week, and I'm putting in not only the the regular paper on it, but these first 2 you probably notice are a little thicker. Those are the ones with watercolor. So I am going to be sending you guys on that giveaway the watercolor notebooks as well, so you can do a little art journaling and such in the notebook. Turned out really pretty. I'm real excited about that. I'm going to be making some more of those. Actually, I filled the other cover too, so it's kind of cool. Anyway, go ahead and watch both of the videos, the one from last week and this week, and go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get updates for the next videos as they come out. As we were talking about last week, for the giveaway, you do need to watch the videos from beginning to end, like and subscribe to my channel, and comment down in the comment section on each of the videos to get in on that. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. I'll bring another video to you real soon.